Hey everyone, it's Tracy Bonebreak Miller. Thank you for viewing my presentation on improving success rates of high school personal fitness students. So one of the things that I love about teaching personal fitness is that it's a very individualized class. I do have a variety of learners in this class. So I have some students who have some vast experience in the weight room and they are competitive athletes and maybe they're juniors or seniors. And then I also have students as young as 10th grade students and some of which have never set foot in a weight room. So there is a wide variety. So I have some students who come in and they're just anxious to get started and they want to go with their program. And I have others um, who definitely don't feel as secure with that. So it's almost like a personal training situation with 25 learners and about 40 minutes of time. So it can be somewhat challenging. So a program that I found a few years ago is something called Platform, which is literally an online learning platform, and it offers online journaling, online classes, and it explains safe and effective lifting techniques, and it's really a quality program. It costs about $1,000 a school year for our personal fitness learners to have their own accounts. And in my opinion, from the teacher standpoint, it works very well. But one of the main focuses of this particular research project is I wanted to know, is it contributing to helping our students achieve the goals that I have them set at the beginning of the class? So what I found was, especially for the first several weeks of class, that students would sometimes wait to ask me a question. And, I'd be trying to, since things are so individualized, I'd have a line of students and I just felt like they weren't moving. They were waiting for me to answer a question. So I've been searching for ways to sort of streamline that, not to alleviate my responsibility to them, to teaching them how to perform a safe and effective workout, but some of the basic things that they might be able to see from watching a short video and then maybe pairing them with somebody who has a little bit more experience. And that's what Platform has really been able to offer us. So I just kind of wanted to take a look at it from the student perspective and see how it was really figuring into the bigger picture. You can see some other opportunities here that I have used in the class because I try to expose students to a variety of opportunities because I want them to try to identify their fitness personality. What is it that they like? What is it that they are going to continue to do, hopefully for a lifetime, to promote their health and longevity? That doesn't seem like a chore. That doesn't seem work that hopefully is somewhat enjoyable to them. So they continue to do it. So as mentioned previously, I wanted to take the guesswork out of this. From my perspective, having this tool, having the platform tool, has been an excellent way to help streamline my students into their workouts so they can get some of the most basic questions answered. And I believe it's been really helpful. And we also have this push to utilize technology in physical education. So this is one way that we could do that. And it's certainly an effective tool for online learning as well. But I wanted to know from the student standpoint, is it something that they believe that is going to help contribute to or has contributed to meeting some of their goals? And is it something that's going to have an impact on their lifelong physical education activities? So what things can we take a look at that are they going to be able to take into the future with them? So even if it's not platform 5 years down the road, that might translate into something that was introduced to them on platform, such as a yoga program, such as a weight training program, such as a dance fitness or kickboxing kind of program. To my knowledge, there haven't been other studies done with platform or with specifically with the class just like personal fitness, but there were some related studies that I was able to find that I'll talk with you about next. When developing a course, it's always important to look at what Shape America has to say for guidelines. So for this particular class, we focused on Standard 3, which is the physically literate individual demonstrates the knowledge and skills to achieve and maintain a health-enhancing level of physical activity and fitness. I'd like to add that what I certainly like to focus on with our learners is that they look at things that they can do for a lifetime, and they're exposed to a variety of different types of exercises, and they learn about ways that they can adapt them either through injury or through different stages of their lives. The first study I took a look at for my project came from Taiwan, where they're also experiencing a chronic public health problem with adolescent obesity. So this particular study was a quantitative one, and they took 2 junior high schools with a total of 37 participants in this study, and they did a web-based exercise online learning program. So that one caught my attention simply because I too am looking at platform, and I'm comparing this to what platform can do. The difference with this program is that it would meet at lunchtime on a regular basis, and the e-learning component taught exercises. But another big thing that seemed to really make a difference with these particular students to achieve success was individual counseling sessions where they were held at noon and lasted for 20 to 30 minutes. So it happened during the school day, and they were able to one-on-one sit down with a weight loss counselor and talk about their logs and talk about any barriers to exercise, basically, and to help them just really chart what they were doing and what was leading to success. So I liked that individual touch, and the researchers seem to attribute the success of their students to that as being a big part. So interestingly enough, even though there was that online component where students were able to work individually with the exercises, there was still that face-to-face time as well. The next study was chosen because it examined males between the ages of 15 to 18, and that's the age range that I do see in personal fitness. However, of course, the limitation here with this particular study is that it did not include females, and it was a study of 29 subjects who were participating in isokinetic and isotonic exercises, and it compared the benefits of those particular exercises on heart rate and blood pressure, and it turned out that both groups experienced a decrease in systolic blood pressure. The next study I took a look at was very intriguing, and I might take a look at the date initially and say, oh, 1992, that's very dated. I'm certainly not going to include it, but there were so many aspects of this particular study that just grabbed my attention. And this particular class was one that it was a co-ed high school class, so very much like my class, a weight training class on a limited budget. It sounded like their resources were even actually fewer than mine. So that might not be something that, is thinking of my target audience, something I might not particularly share with my school district. So that you're always asked to do more with less. So be really careful with that. But this particular program had a small amount of space and only lightweight. So this particular instructor used low weights and high repetition. The program lasted the entire school year. His class lasted the entire school year for 3 days a week. And he had such a buy-in and experienced a lot of successes with his particular program where students were able to meet their goals. And as a current health and physical education teacher, it's interesting to me that if a student missed one day of weight training for whatever reason, they were required to make up their workout before or after school or during their lunch period. So I feel like, especially even more so since COVID, everything is excused for one reason or another. So I thought that was interesting, but that and they had to make those up under supervision of the instructor. So I just think that, that was requiring them to really not get away without during their workout and really be consistent and teaching that component and the importance of being consistent. So that's why I wanted to include that particular study in my literature review. This next study I took a look at was with 29 ice hockey, volleyball, and badminton players between the ages of 17 and 23, so not a direct overlap. And also, this particular study was looking specifically at athletes, and I train both athletes and non-athletes in personal training or in personal fitness class, but the study was also particularly interesting as well, with the discussion of motorized strength and power training and free weight strength and power training, along with Olympic um, weightlifting as well. So the conclusion from this particular study of 29 athletes was that the MSPT was time efficient and equally or maybe even more effective than the FSPT in training and improving vertical jumping and sprinting performance, where Olympic weightlifting was generally ineffective and inferior to the other interventions. However, the OWL demonstrated increased thickness in vastus lateralis and rectus femoris. The next study I looked at was out of the Netherlands, and it had 695 participants between the ages of 11 and 15, so somewhat younger than my population group, but I liked the large number, so that we can maybe really pay attention to the results from 695 individuals. So this program was a combination of physical education and health. So each physical education lesson had corresponding motivational health education lesson that was promoting physical activity learning opportunities, and those learning opportunities would then be provided for them during physical education. So they kind of learned the why behind why they were doing it and some motivation, and tried to make it like, what are the benefits I'm going to see now, not 20 years from now. So there's more of those short-term benefits, and it seemed like it was a very successful program and an improvement in body composition and a smaller decrease in physical activity level. Now I'd like to tell you a little bit more about my particular study, which was conducted during the spring semester of 2022 on 27 current and former personal fitness students who took the course between 2019 and 2022. One important factor to consider is that there were some participants who were polled who actually took the course during COVID, so it was primarily online. So the study took place in a public high school. The public high school contains students from grades 9 through 12, but personal fitness students are in grades 10 through 12. The high school has 1,400 students and is in South Central PA in a rural suburban area, so about an hour and a half away from Washington, D.C., and about 2 hours away from Philadelphia, and just about a 2-minute drive to the Maryland Lime. Again, sample size was 27 students. A 14-question survey was distributed to students using 6 Likert scale questions and a few open-ended optional questions as well, and questions asking things like, what was your favorite personal fitness activity, and rate various activities in personal fitness, and also not just whether or not you like them, but whether or not you believe that they contributed to your success in achieving the goals that you set at the beginning of the course. Due to the specific nature of the study, identical results may not be achieved in other high school physical education classes, which is a recognized limitation of the validity of this research. Other physical education teachers may use this, especially in a high school setting, perhaps even in a middle school setting if they have a course that's like this. But I feel like due to the independent nature and as far as safety is concerned, it's definitely more applicable to the high school setting. To tell you a little bit more about the class, at the beginning of the course, we have a new program that's been in use now for 2 entire school years, and we're getting ready to start the 3rd school year with a program called Platform, which is an online journal opportunity for students. They can, journal their max lifts. They can keep track of their exercises. They can follow some online classes, some group fitness style classes with everything from weight training to yoga to shadow boxing. There are a variety of different programs. A lot of the programs that are available are similar to programs that you might find on like Refit Revolution, Beachbody, or Peloton, but they are without all the advertisements and very specifically oriented towards high school students. So hopefully to gather their attention and to really use them as the target audience. The survey was open for 7 days. Students were able to answer via Google Forms, which is a platform that they're pretty familiar with, and their identifying factors and information were not collected, so they could hopefully answer honestly and not fear of having no fear of the teacher knowing who they were. So if they had any fears that however they might answer a particular question would affect their grade. And this data was collected and is displayed in pie charts to kind of make it easier to read and just evaluate the information that was coming in. IRB approval was not sought to collect this data. Since teaching this class since 2016, I've noticed a vast array of differences in fitness personalities and workouts that students enjoy. So I like to offer a variety of opportunities. So this particular question was particularly important to me. I want students to feel as if they're given a variety of opportunities and workout options to help to meet their fitness goals. And here you can see that 22.2% strongly agreed that they had a variety of options, and 61.1% agree, and 16.7% were neutral. And of course, we want to empower learners to be successful in meeting their goals. So I wanted to know that whether or not they made progress towards their fitness goals during the class. So I asked a particular question, and goals range from everything from, improving max lifts to weight loss to, improving their sprint times or their running time. So again, I have athletes and non-athletes that are mixed in the group. So it is very, very specific, and I want them to be goal oriented, and we work together on their goals at the beginning of the class. Going back to that shape standard that we discussed at the beginning of the presentation, I want them to learn about ways to improve their physical fitness. So whether or not they're fully engaged, whether or not they're doing what they're supposed to, do they have the knowledge that they need to improve fitness? And then, as we all know, if we don't enjoy something, if we don't like it, we're probably not going to continue it for a lifetime. So that's why I don't want to have a cookie cutter experience in personal fitness. So I want them to find things that they like. And I especially have enjoyed the challenge of dealing with those students who I call PE haters. They don't like to move. They'd rather, be in front of a screen all day. maybe they're kind of like to be by themselves and not really interact in a traditional physical education class where they're learning a lot of team sports. So I want to identify, hey, what's your favorite thing? So that's what this question served to discover. I particularly was pretty pleased. I would have, of course, like a 100% of strongly agree on this particular question, but it's not a perfect world. But I was pretty happy with the responses here that, are you going to continue to work out after this class ends? So again, the importance of instilling lifelong fitness. I'm allowed 100 active users at a time per our current account with Platform Fitness. So I was curious how many students are going to use their platform account after the class is over, because that is available, and there is an app that they can take along with them on their phone that they can use at home. They don't need to have a Chromebook or other device except for a phone in order to operate many of the classes and programs that Platform has to offer. So many students do ask me whether or not or for permission to keep their account after the class is over, and as long as I don't go over that 100 max, I'm able to do that. So I wanted to know if, is that something that's worthwhile? Is that something that they appreciate? As previously mentioned, IRB permission was not acquired nor obtained for this particular study. Um, and email addresses and personal identifying markers were not obtained, and responses were anonymous. This just tells you my goal. The goal of the researcher is to reflect on this data to determine the best programs and practices that contribute to student success, as shown by the attainment of student set goals from the beginning of the course, and likelihood of participation in lifelong physical fitness activities, and also, is Platform a cost-effective program? So the goal set as a result of this research is that we are going to continue to incorporate platform and personal fitness, and perhaps even develop some sort of reward program to promote motivation while continuing in platform. So possibly, for example, if more students achieve their goals of platform as opposed to a open weight room, perhaps a class competition of minutes, and then just putting students into teams from personal fitness, and then the team with the most minutes to choose or lead a Friday workout, or have a workout option, and perhaps a tiered reward program. Part of this does depend, even though personal fitness in our local setting is an individual class, there are times where we share space with learners in other classes, so it has to coincide with space available and also other learners and teachers as well. A summative assessment will be used by continuing to distribute the student survey that was incorporated from this research program. And also, we would like to implement this for the 23-24 school year. So currently we have one more year of platform available at our school as a result of a grant that I was awarded for the program. So we would like the district to keep up with that program for the following and subsequent school years, as long as we deem it a successful part of our personal fitness program. Currently, the program costs $1,000 per school year for the way our account is set up. The largest group of professionals who would be interested in this information are physical education teachers, and primarily those physical education teachers who work at the secondary level, mostly high school, perhaps some middle school or junior high school teachers as well. But furthermore, there are coaches and personal trainers who work with students of this particular age group who might also be interested and find this information helpful. Some of the recognized limitations of the study include students who may have been scheduled perhaps by a counselor or administrator to take the class who would have preferred to take a traditional physical education class where team sports are focused upon. However, in saying that, those students may skew the results and they might come in with a closed mind, but I also believe it's my job as a physical education teacher to still teach the objectives of the class and still reach them as well. Also, another possible limitation is for the students who are answering the survey questions during the semester before they've gotten that final grade posted. If they think that there's some way that I can determine how they answer the questions, that might affect their ability to answer them truthfully. So it is important for me to share that, I have no way of knowing how each individual student is answering a question. Another factor that might sort of change some things, even from semester to semester, sometimes space limitations on some of the things I can do based on scheduling. Are there other physical education classes and students where I need them to be to offer a certain program? Another example is that, some semesters I'm able to take students on some field trips to explore some different fitness opportunities in our local communities. Sometimes I can do that, sometimes I can't. Also, during the second semester of the school year, those students who have physical education and personal fitness both tend to get outside a lot less often for opportunities than do our fall classes, simply because of weather. Possible options for future research include, of course, just making sure all classes now have the survey, and I'm just going to continue on because now that the tool is there, I think it's one that whether or not I'm reporting to anyone, it's just important information for me to have, and it's more of a detailed tool than what I've used in the past. Another possible area for research would be compare success rates of goal attainment for students using platform to those who are using other forms such as the open weight room or journal technique, because you can see in some of the results that I had that open weight room was one of the favorite activities as well, and that could be a quantitative study. I could also compare success rates per each program selected as a favorite. So this is the conclusion of my presentation. I appreciate you sticking with me for this long, and I appreciate any feedback that you have to offer. So primarily what we can glean from my research project this particular semester is that learners in personal fitness have overwhelmingly made progress towards their fitness goals and are likely to continue their workouts beyond their particular class. The data also points to suggestions for best practices and learning opportunities, including keeping platform as one of those options available for personal fitness learners. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, and in the next few slides, you will be able to see my references.